Hello YouTube, this is the Phantom Outlaw coming at you with another firearms review. And as you saw from the title, this is the Walther PPX. This particular one is the 9mm version. It is also available in 40 Smith & Wesson. This one, however, is the 9mm version. What I'm going to do is a standard review here. We're going to talk about the specs first, go over some of the highlights of that, and then after that we will follow up with some of the pros and the cons. To start off with, as far as the specs go, more important or more obvious perhaps than that is the initial appearance of this firearm. There's no doubt when you first see this, as big and blocky as it is, it resembles a high point. And I promise you, I assure you, this is no high point. This is a Walther. It does have a similar shape and appearance of some of the high points, I guess, but it is definitively not a high point. Real quickly, we are going to show an empty magazine, empty firearm. So we are dealing with a safe firearm for today's review. Alright, so let's talk about some of the pros and cons and features and all the different things that do make this the Walther PPX. This particular one, as I said, is a 9mm. The height is 5.6 inches. The weight is 27 ounces. It's not lightweight by any stretch, but it is a larger frame gun. The length is 7.3 inches. The width is 1.3 inches. Again, a bit wider than most of what we're talking about. Capacity for the 9mm is 16 round magazine. For the 40 caliber, it's a 14 round magazine. It does come with 2 magazines. The trigger pull is between 6 and 6.5 pounds. I've measured it from between 6.1 all the way up to 6.4. So it's a pretty light trigger pull. The action is double action only. Now that's kind of where it comes interesting, and we'll get to that here in a moment. The finish is a Tennifer finish, and the sight is a 3-dot sight system. Alright, so let's talk real quickly again about what we just mentioned a moment ago. It definitely looks like the high point, but it is not. It is a larger frame, higher bore access, and there's grip here in the back. Does have a little bit of a distinct hump or an odd look to it. The first time I saw this before it came out was some print ads and online, and I remember thinking that is one goofy looking gun. I think high point probably did come to mind at some point. I've since read that a number of times, but it's just weird. It's a larger gun. However, the first time I put my hands on one, I was very pleasantly surprised at the ergonomics, how this gun feels in the hand. When you're pointing this gun, it just feels fantastic. The way that your hand grabs around it, definitely a real feather in the cap from Walther. They did a very good job with the ergonomics of this gun. That's one of the pros. Let's talk about some of the other pros. Alright, perhaps second only to the ergonomics, or maybe first in some people's mind as far as the pros go, is the trigger. It's just over 6 pounds, but it is a very, very smooth trigger. It's a very good firing pistol. I mentioned a moment ago, it's double action only, but only just over 6 pounds. Many double action only pistols come in at 9 or even 10 pounds with a long, sloppy, gritty trigger pull. That is most definitely not the case with this one. This one feels very similar to a striker fire gun. The behavior is very similar to a striker fire gun, but it is most definitely a hammer fire gun, as I said, double action only. Another advantage or pro will be this rail system right here. You can attach lights or lasers or any other type of tactical accessory you want to add on to it. Another big pro is the price. First time I came across this gun, I think it was priced somewhere in the high 4s, close to $500. So it was still a reasonably priced gun, but by mid-2015 that price started dropping. By July or August it had dropped down to about half, maybe not quite, yeah, I guess about half of what it was going for just 8 or 10 months ago. I got it for a fantastic price, even better than that. However, the value does not mean it's a cheap gun. Inexpensive, yes. Cheap as far as quality goes, no. The quality is definitely Walther. One of the things that comes up when people look at this and think, looks like a high point, the price point's pretty low, must be a garbage gun or a piece of crap gun. And that is not the case. It was designed as a duty gun, and it definitely fills that role. It's definitely too big for most people to carry as far as concealed goes. Outside the waistband or in an exterior holster, something like that, no issues, no worries. That's not a problem. Don't try to conceal it though. That's not going to happen. Some other pros. This is going to be tough to see. I'll show it to you as best I can on the camera. What we're going to have here, these edges here are rounded is a term that comes to mind, but they're really not round. They're beveled. So it's not a blocky, it's more curved. So it's a comfortable feel. As far as holstering goes, that's definitely a plus. It's not a blocky overall look to it. It's a large gun, but those curved edges do help to soften that a bit. I mentioned the ergonomics are fantastic on it. The way that gun feels in your hand is just, it's hard to describe. This goofy hump here in the back fits your palm swell very, very nicely. It's a very comfortable gun to hold on to. It's also a very accurate gun. With the barrel length of over 4 inches, you would expect an accurate gun. It is a full-size gun, and it follows through with that. It delivers. It is a very accurate gun to shoot. The magazine release is ambidextrous in that you can reverse it from the left side to the right side. I know on the website, or at least I've been told this, that Walther says that the slide release is also ambidextrous. As you can see, there is no slide release anywhere on this side. So perhaps I got one that was defective, or more than likely that was something that maybe was originally planned and just never followed through on. But the magazine release is definitely ambidextrous. Let's talk about a couple of the cons. I've already mentioned the goofy high point look to it. It's definitely something you have to get past. If you're more concerned about the overall appearance of your firearms, then this one may let you down. If you're concerned that when you have your firearm out that your friends are going to be impressed with the looks at it, or that it looks cool, or that it looks whatever, this one's not the one for you. If you're looking for a firearm that just flat out performs, then this one definitely applies. I think some people look at Glocks in a similar light. There's nothing particularly appealing about the look of a Glock. It's very simplistic, it's very basic, but it works. And that's the case with this one as well. It is a bulky gun. It's a thick gun. It does have a wider appearance. It's 1.3 inches wide, which means it's wider than Glocks and Smith & Wessons and many of the other contemporaries like this. But it's not so big that it's bulky. It's just bigger than a lot of the competition. This grip is somewhat weird looking. It definitely has a very noticeable hump in the back of it. Again, until you put it in your hand, when you can feel the ergonomics, you don't quite understand just what a benefit that is. But it definitely has a weird looking grip. The grip is what it is. There are no changeable back straps. You can't adjust the size of this by changing out a piece or a part. It is what it is as far as the size. Some people see that as a con because a lot of the other guns out there have interchangeable back straps to adjust the size. This one is what it is. As I mentioned before, it does have a higher bore access, so some people will see that as a bit of a con. It really doesn't feel that way. It's a pretty soft shooting gun. The recoil is very manageable. As I said before, it is accurate, so the higher bore access does not prove to be a problem at all. Some people don't get over that very easily, others don't have a problem with it. So what we're dealing with here overall is a comfortable gun to hold on to. It's got really good ergonomics. The 3-dot sights, you can see those right there. Not much else to say. It's a very simple gun to operate. It's a very nice basic firearm. It shoots well. It feels good. It performs as you would expect from a Walther. And it's really a pretty good value. I have read a couple different stories on the internet saying that this is a discontinued model. That's part of the reason that the prices have come down so much recently. I don't know if that's confirmed or just a rumor, but that might explain it. Either way, if you can get your hands on one, especially if you find a new one still out there, it's a great gun for the money. For me, I've got a little light that I'll put on the end of it, and I have this as a nightstand gun with the light on it. I'm never going to try to conceal this gun. I'm never going to try to have this be an everyday carry gun. This is not going to be something that is used in that regard for me. But as a nightstand gun that's reliable, accurate, I could easily put a flashlight on the end of it. That's what I view it as. So overall, I definitely like this gun. I have to get over the overall appearance. It's a little bit something to keep in mind. But once you get past that, you really have a pretty solid firearm in your hands. If you have any questions, please drop me a line in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Hope you're all doing great. Have a good afternoon. Take care.